the one, the only, former congressman and founder of Powered by People, Beto O'Rourke.
All right.
There he
Um,
is.
hey, everybody. Good to see you. I'm broadcasting live from our home in El Paso, Texas, and I see there are folks from all over Texas and all over the country, and everyone is welcome. And just to make sure that everyone knows that we're focused on winning big, important elections in Texas, but we're looking for folks even outside of Texas. So no matter where you live in this country or the world, if you want to help ensure that James Tallarico is the 51st vote in the US Senate, if you'd love to see Democrats win a majority in the state legislature so that we could do something about the obscene and obnoxious laws, whether it comes to reproductive health care and abortion, whether it comes to a minimum wage that's $7.25 an hour, or the fact that we are still the least insured state in America, which in plain English means it is harder to see a doctor. It's harder to afford medication. It is harder to be well enough to go to school or go to work or raise your kids in Texas than it is anywhere in America. The only way we change that is by winning political power. And Powered by People exists to help Texans, the voters who can get it done, ensure that they're registered and ready to vote. This state, because of the Republicans in control, makes it harder than any other to register. It makes it harder than any other to cast your ballot. And so our Powered by People volunteers, and we want you to become one of them tonight. And I think the link is pinned in the chat. So you don't have to wait for me to finish talking. You can click on it right now and fill out your volunteer interest form. But if you join us, we will put you to work this very week connecting with young Texans, getting them on the rolls, staying in touch with them personally, and making sure that they use that power to vote to change Texas, to change the country, and to change the world. That's what Powered by People is. I'm a volunteer just like the thousands of other volunteers who make this happen in Texas. And one thing before we bring our super special guest on, Aimee Prudhomme, our extraordinary executive director, just said this is the work that works. And what we mean by that is when we first ran this version of the program in 2024, and we sought out young Texans on college campuses, at concerts, at clubs, at cafes, outside of high schools, if they were 18 years old, those young Texans who came through our program turned out at a rate of 79%. That same demographic, 18 to 29-year-olds, not in our program in the state of Texas, turned out at a rate of 39%. So the Republican legislature, Governor Greg Abbott, Donald Trump, trying to stop these young people because they're scared of these young people from voting. We are the group, we are the volunteers who show up and ensure that these young people can get it done. It works. But if we're going to do this at the scale necessary to tip the balance in the Senate race and the governor's race and the congressional races and the state house races, we need you in now. Now is the time to join. And if you sign up tonight, Kate, who you were just hearing from earlier, she or one of her volunteers will call you tonight, confirm your interest, sign you up for a training, get you paired with an experienced volunteer, and put you to work. You do not want to be on the sidelines during this election. You want to be on the field. If you join us, we'll get you out there, okay? Aimee, thank you for getting us kicked off and started. Kate and Oriana for bringing all these amazing people on. I know that we had a little under 2,000 people who RSVP'd when we last looked at the numbers. I think most of them here to see our special guest. So, Aimee, if it's okay with you, I'm going to introduce Senator Bernie Sanders and bring him up here. This
Absolutely.
man needs no introduction because there is no one with more integrity. There's no one who fights more fiercely. And there's no one who has a stronger intelligence brought to bear on the challenges and opportunities of this country. Senator Sanders, thank you for joining us and our Texas volunteers and our volunteers outside of Texas who are helping Texas. It's so great to be with you.
Well, Beto, it is wonderful to be with you, Aimee. Thank you. And let me thank all of the volunteers from Texas and around the country who are with us this evening. Not much more that I can say that Beto did not already say. Here is the bottom line. We are living in an unprecedented moment in American history, an extremely dangerous moment. We have a president who, in my view, is mentally unstable, who is a narcissist, who is a kleptocrat, who lies every single day, who has gotten us into a terrible, terrible war, which has killed thousands of innocent people and caused economic havoc in our country and around the world. But the problems that we're facing are not just Donald Trump. We are living, in my view, in an oligarchic society. Never before in American history have so few people held so much wealth and so much power. And it's not a question, oh, these guys have fancy houses and big cars and jet planes. That's not the issue. What they are using their power for is to make themselves even richer and more powerful at the expense of the vast majority of our people. Now, I want you to think about it. You're living in the richest country in the history of the world. You tell me why 60% of our people in Texas, in Vermont, all over this country are living paycheck to paycheck. They can't afford groceries. They can't afford health care. They can't afford housing. If you're an older American worker, you're scared to death about retirement because you got no money in the bank to have a decent retirement. As a nation, we're dealing with climate change and a president who thinks it's a hoax. Well, we just had the hottest month in the history of humanity, etc., etc. Oh, by the way, then AI is coming, being pushed by a handful of multi-zillionaires, which will have a devastating impact on workers, on our privacy, on our democracy, etc., etc. So what is the remedy to all of this stuff? How do you take on a handful of oligarchs who have unbelievable wealth and power? You got a guy like Elon Musk, put $270 million into Donald Trump's presidential campaign. And you know what Musk's saying? Hey, I got unlimited amounts of money. I'm a trillionaire. Maybe I'll spend another 100 million, maybe more, to make sure Republicans continue to control the Senate and the House. And when you're worth $1 trillion, you know what? Spending a few $100 million is like you going out for a cup of coffee. That's what we're up against. Now, what is the antidote to all of that? Well, there is one, and that's what Beto was talking about. They got the money, we have the people. But people are not powerful unless they are organized, unless they are fighting within the political system, unless they're prepared to take on the oligarchy and create a state, a nation, a world in which all of our people can live with dignity and decency. That is what the struggle is about. And let me give you some good news in the midst of a lot of bad news. The good news is that people all over this country, from Vermont to Texas, all over this country, understand the system is broken. The economy is rigged. Campaign finance system is corrupt. Rich getting richer. Millions of people struggling to put basic necessities on the table. All right, so what do? And here is the very good news. In the last year, what we have seen is grassroots organizing, what Beto is talking about, having a huge impact. Do you know why Zohran Mamdani is mayor of New York City right now and doing a great job? It's because 100,000 people in New York City, 100,000 people went out on the streets, knocked on doors, took on the oligarchs, took on the Democratic establishment, took on the Republican establishment, took on the President of the United States. That's a lot to take on, and they won. Do you know why Abdul El-Sayed is now the Democratic nominee in Michigan when the oligarchs and their super PACs spent $60 million in the state of Michigan against him? You know why? Because he had thousands and thousands of people at the grassroots level making the phone calls, knocking on the doors, talking to their friends. They got the money, we got the people. And what Beto is saying is absolutely true. The only way that people become powerful is when they are organized, when they participate in the political process. And I really want to congratulate Beto, just on a personal note. You know, a lot of people serve in office, they run for a statewide office, they lose, they disappear, they're not heard of again. Or they become rich going out someplace making money. Beto stuck with it, and the work that he is doing and others around this country are doing, grassroots organizing, voter registration, taking on Republican efforts to suppress the vote. There is nothing, in my view, more important than that. So let me just conclude two things. Number one, I've said it before and I say it again. Texas, as goes Texas, so goes America. You guys are now the second largest state in the country. If a progressive wins in Texas, it will transform not only your state, but the entire country, change the whole tone of politics in America. You should not be run by a bunch of right-wing extremists. Second of all, our job is not just to defeat Trumpism and those who support Trump. It is to have a vision for where we can go in America. So let me be very clear. Healthcare is a human right, not a privilege. And I know that some people out there will call me a communist because I think that every man, woman, and child in this country is entitled to healthcare. Well, you know what? That's what the vast majority of the American people believe. As Beto said, we should not have a minimum wage, not in Texas, not in America, of $7.25 an hour. It's got to be a living wage. We can create millions of good paying jobs, transforming our energy system. We can make AI and robotics work for working people and not just the wealthiest people in the world. So we got to have a vision out there, and it's a vision, I think, supported by the vast majority of the American people. So I just want to, again, congratulate Beto and all of you who are working with him. I want to thank all of the volunteers that are out there. You guys can transform America. We are winning in state after state. It's not just New York City. It's not just Michigan. It's Washington, D.C. It's Seattle. It is winning congressional primary elections in Ohio, in Montana, and all over this country. We're on a roll. We're doing well. People are standing up and fighting back. And I think at the heart of all of that is what goes on in Texas. So I want to wish all of you the very, very best and thank Beto for the great work he's doing. And I look forward to working with you in the future. Thank you all very, very much.
Thank you, Senator Sanders. Folks, Senator Sanders, last time I saw him in person was in June of last year. It was June 22nd, 2025. And Senator Sanders was on a 3-city stop or tour of Texas in this fighting oligarchy stand that he's been making across the country, which just lit fire. Was going to be in Amarillo, was in McAllen, Texas, in the Rio Grande Valley. Nobody goes to the Rio Grande Valley. First of all, no national Democrat comes to Texas to begin with. And if they do come to Texas, they go to Austin or Dallas or the obvious places. And nothing against those cities. I love them. I've spent a big part of my life within them. But the Valley and places like El Paso, where I'm transmitting from right now, these are the places that Democrats historically, present company excluded, have written off or taken for granted. These are the places that Bernie Sanders has been showing up in. So a year ago, June 22nd, 2025, he takes his fighting oligarchy tour to Fort Worth, Texas, which is called the last reliably red urban county in America. And, Bernie just said, as goes Texas, so goes the country. In this state, we say, as goes Tarrant, so goes Texas. That's why he showed up there. He didn't care that they called it red. He knew that people want a living wage. They want to be able to see a doctor and take care of themselves. They want to educate their kids. They don't want to have to fear that they're going to be shot in their classrooms. We lead the nation in school shootings still right now. Thousands of people packed Dickies Arena because Bernie Sanders showed up. So check this out. If you all don't already know this story, 6 months later, someone you may not have heard of before named Taylor Rumette, who is a union leader, he's an aircraft mechanic in Fort Worth, Texas, is running in a state Senate special election in Fort Worth, Texas, in Tarrant County, in that supposedly reliably red urban county, the last one in America. Taylor Rumette not only wins that race, he wins the race by 14 points in this special election last January, by 14 points in a state Senate district that Donald Trump won by 17 points. It was a 31-point swing. So my point is that when Bernie shows up, and he's been showing up in Texas for as long as I can remember, certainly for the last 10 or 11 years, he's been a constant presence in this state. He's one of the few national Democrats that has refused to give up on us and in fact believes in us as the future of America. And it means the world to me that he showed up on this call tonight to thank all of you who are current volunteers, all of you who are about to sign up to become our newest volunteers, and everyone who will be responsible for authoring the most important victory in Texas, if not American history. James Tallarico wins this Senate seat. He becomes the 51st vote. He's right there with every other Democratic senator, not just checking the bad stuff from Donald Trump, but making possible the great things that we deserve as Americans, as human beings. So big thanks to Senator Sanders for being on this call tonight and joining us. And listen, his appearance in Fort Worth last year, Taylor Ramet's victory in January, Elisa Simmons, and other members of the Tarrant County community who stopped the redistricting or polling place closure plan that was going to try to silence voters in Fort Worth. The victories keep rolling. Now we just need to do the work over these next más o menos 85, 90 days to make sure that we win county judge race, state house race, congressional race, U.S. Senate race, governor's race, and everything in between. We can do it, but as Bernie said, the only way that we overcome the power of Elon Musk's hundreds of millions of dollars, much of which he might drop in Texas, the only way we overcome the power of the presidency, which Donald Trump is abusing right now, the only way we overcome the power of this oligarchy that he just described is through the power of people, but it has to be organized. It's not one or two of us posting on Twitter and hoping that the world hears us. It is getting out there and meeting our fellow human beings after being trained by one of our amazing Powered by People trainers to become a certified volunteer deputy registrar so you can legally register people to vote, getting trained under our programs so that you can stay in touch with these new voters, and then turning them out to vote so that we win power in November. So let me bring Aimee Prudhomme, our fearless leader, the executive director of Powered by People, back up here. She's going to go into a little bit more detail. If you sign up tonight, and I think we have the link pinned in the chat, and you can do it even when we're talking, but after Aimee introduces a little bit more of the program, she's going to just give you a silent moment or two to sign up if you can't do that while we are talking. But if you sign up tonight, one of our volunteers or organizers will call you. We'll confirm your interest. We'll get you signed up for a training. All this is free, by the way. And then we will pair you with an experienced volunteer in your community to get you out there meeting voters. And if you live outside of Texas, we have a role for you as well. And we'll get you trained to do that too. So bottom line from me, I'm grateful that you're here, whether you are an experienced volunteer who has made this success possible, or whether this is your first time, you were drawn in by the fact that Bernie was going to be here. We can use you right now to win political power in Texas and change the country. So let me turn it over to Aimee Prudhomme, who's not only our executive director, but was one of, if not our strongest volunteers before she joined us in her official capacity. She believes in the mission because she believes in people. This is a volunteer-driven organization. Our best ideas, our greatest success have come from volunteers, and Aimee works day in and day out to make the most of that. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me turn it over to Aimee Prudhomme, and then Aimee, I'll just stay back, and then when you're done, we can make it awkward for people and give them some silence to sign up and join us.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Beto. And it's so good to see everyone on the call. I recognize a lot of names. And some folks actually, I love this story, this journey of some names are voters in my network, people I met on college campuses who said, you know what, I don't only want to get registered and vote for the first time. I want to bring my auntie or my grandma or my friend from college. Actually, I want to do this work. I want to volunteer with you. And that's like the most powerful voter story for me. It's like starting with that initial interaction and then carrying it through all the way to becoming a volunteer and being civically engaged. I just think that's so amazing. Like both Bernie and Beto said, this is people-powered work. It's not easy. And every day, I mean, right now in the Texas summer, we are out there sweating. I'm sure you saw some of the pictures. It's not glamorous, but it's super fulfilling and is it's the most fun and joyful thing that I've ever done as an activist myself. And so grateful to be able to do this now full time. But I want to just share with y'all a couple things about our program, what we have coming up that we're really excited about to close out the election cycle. And then, of course, leaving plenty of time for y'all to sign up to volunteer. So right now, before I do that, I see we've got 76 people signed up so far on our interest form. It takes like 30 seconds. It's pinned at the top. I know some of our staff members have been dropping the link in the chat. And I just want to acknowledge some people. So I see Christy from 78028. I see Lee Alvoid here represented. Sarah from let's see, 76648. Lauren 78744. We even got remote people outside of the state who are signing up, which is just awesome. So please keep those coming in. But let me take a step back and just explain the program to y'all. So we like Beto said, we do the work that works. We go where people are. And what's really exciting is that in the next week, we're going to be on the road on college campuses, every college campus you can think of in the state. We're going to be on college campuses, meeting young people where they're at, introducing ourselves, getting them registered to vote if they're not already registered. And if they are, in all cases, if they are registered or not, we ask their permission to stay in touch with them. And then we maintain that relationship for years. I have people in my network that I met in 2024 when Powered by People first did their foray into this space, who I still contact. One fun story I like to tell is a young woman who I met in 2024 on a college campus came to me during this primary season. I had not texted her yet. It was like the first day of early voting. And she sent me a text and was like, where's my election reminder? Because I had been engaging with her for every election in the off cycle years and making sure she was ready to vote. And she is now what do they say, Beto? It's like the student has become the master. Like she's now the one telling me that I need to go vote, which I think is amazing. The other
I
thing I
love
want to
that.
share with, right? I want to read this story. One of our super volunteers in Fort Worth, his name's Milton. He sent me this and it touched my heart. So I'm going to read it out loud. At a back to school event in Fort Worth, I started chatting with a 19-year-old vendor, Eduardo. I asked him if he was registered to vote, and he kind of put his head down and said something like, no, and my dad was not happy with me because I didn't vote in the last election. My dad can't vote and said I need to. So Milton said, well, let's change that now. Let's get you registered. It takes less than 5 minutes. After registering him, he sent him a text. Milton sent Eduardo a text saying how proud his dad is going to be of him. I literally have chills, no joke. Like these things matter. It's very human, it's familial, it's beyond, it's not a mass text. We are people powered, we are not bot or AI powered. We don't take the shortcut. We are individually reaching out to these folks and staying in contact with them because it works. It's not only the right thing to do because it just feels good, but as Beto mentioned, that's what helps us in all cases double our turnout rate across the state. I will tell y'all, Beto mentioned the jump from 39% turnout rate in Texas for 18 to 29-year-olds was the state average. Ours was 79%, so double the state rate. We're seeing the same types of results, and in some cases even greater, in the elections that have happened so far this year. So in the primary, 2 to 3 times the turnout. In the Taylor Romette race, close to 4 times the turnout. So our work really does work, and we are going to make a difference in November, and we cannot do it without all of you. So I'm going to do this awkward pause here and just check my list of people who have signed up so far. And if y'all don't see the pinned link, I actually want to ask the team, can y'all share the screen with the QR code? Carlos built this, and it's just nice. So outside of just getting you to sign up, scan that QR code, fill out the form when it pops up on your screen. These are all dates where Beto is going to be on the road every week. Actually, there's a secret date, one that's coming up next Monday at UT Arlington. So if anyone's in the Dallas, Fort Worth area, Arlington area, we want to see you there. These are all on our website. But these are the dates that Beto's going to be traveling literally every day, every week from now until November 3rd. We're going to be on college campuses across the state doing the work that works. We want you there with us. But first things first is you have to sign up to be a volunteer. When you do, like Beto said, we are going to call you tonight. We're going to get you plugged in so you will not feel alone. You'll get trained. We'll get you set up at your first event, whether that's a Beto attended event or just an event we have coming up literally every day in every corner of Texas. And you'll get plugged in and learn this work. So let me take a look at the list and see where we're at. I'm counting, Beto, 132 so far, which is awesome. Let's see who we've got. We've got Oscar out of the Austin area. I've got Patricia signing up in like the, call it Metroplex West, probably, maybe that's an Arlington person. Robert out of North Texas. Ringo. I know Ringo. That's so funny that Ringo's one of my friends in Houston. Ringo is in the looks like the San Antonio area, Houston area. Kathy, I see you, North Texas. There's people in RGV, El Paso who have signed up. This is awesome. Beto,
Really good to hear.
what do you think? Like what's your favorite thing about touring the campuses?
Oh, it's corny as hell, but when you meet young people and listen to young people and ask young people questions about what's important to them or what they're working on or how we're going to change the world, you leave those conversations, or at least I do, so pumped, inspired, optimistic, and I want to do everything I can to come through. And there's this thing that a lot of politicians will say to young people, you are our future. And the hell with that. Young people are the right now. They're the ones leading on this stuff. And I'm not one who subscribes to this notion that younger generations, Gen Z or whatever the generation that follows, are somehow not as engaged or don't care as much or want things handed to them on a platter. I mean, I see them having the urgency that I think befits their generation. They're going to have to live with the shit that we are doing far longer than I am, right? I'm 53. Who knows how much longer I'm here? If you're 18 or 19 years old, you are just getting started. This stuff matters to you more than it matters to anybody else. And so when, as a Powered by People volunteer, I can help that 18 or 19-year-old get registered, or if they're registered but they've never voted before and no one in their family has ever voted before, maybe they're the first US citizen in their family, first to go to college, and I can guide them to the polling place, to when early voting starts, to the names on the ballot, and then stay in touch with them until I can confirm their vote is cast. That feels so good. And then when it's reflected in the numbers, 79% turnout with young people that we work with versus 39% with the young people we don't, then that just shows me that what we're doing is working. So real quick, Aimee, for those who have just joined us or can't follow everything that we're doing right now, real quick, Powered by People is a volunteer organization that helps voters vote in Texas. Why do we do that? Because Texas makes it harder than any other state to get registered or cast your ballot. So as Mr. Rogers said, you got to look for the helpers. And we're the people out there helping primarily young people, but other people who are targeted for voter suppression or intimidation. We're there to be their friends, their buddies, to make sure that they can cast their ballot. So if you're wondering, hey, that sounds good, but am I the right fit for this? If you want to get out there and meet young Texans where they are, we've got a role for you. If you don't want to do that, and for whatever reason you can't or don't want to leave your home, we have a role for you as well. If you're not in Texas, but you still want to pitch in, we have a job for you wherever you happen to be around the world. So all you have to have is the intent. And then when you sign up, we ask you to go through a very brief training. And then we will pair you with an experienced volunteer and we'll put you to work. And I'll just tell you this for your mental health, for your sanity, based on my own experience, it is so much better to be in the game, taking action, doing work, than watching this shit show from the sidelines and hoping that someone is going to ride to our rescue and save the day. A day of volunteering with Aimee, empowered by people, and I feel so much better than I did at the beginning of that day. So any of those options, if they fit your profile and what you're interested in, we want you to click on the volunteer sign up that's in the chat, and it'll take you probably 30 seconds, if that, to fill it out. And then someone from our team will follow up with you. And You are our program. We are our volunteers. And so you're the most important part of what we do. And if you missed Bernie earlier, he was saying, look, people power is going to beat the power of the billionaires and the oligarchs, but it has to be organized people power. And that's who we are, empowered by people. Aimee, I wondered if to give people a silent moment to sign up, if you could look into your camera and I'll look into my camera and we'll have a staring contest.
Oh
And
my God.
because I'm staring into my camera, I can't see your eyes and you can't see mine, but whoever blinks first just
Oh,
has to admit it, okay? You ready?
wait, no, I need to close my eyes first.
Okay.
Okay, you count down.
3, 2, 1, go.
I feel like I'm making a weird face.
All right, yeah, I think you've disqualified yourself. I don't think you're
What?
allowed
No,
to
did
talk
you
for.
blink because I talked? Because I had not blinked.
You hadn't? Okay. I haven't blinked either. Okay, let's go.
Well,
Let's see if we
I
can go
just
30
blinked.
seconds longer. And those 30 seconds are just, if you're a prospective volunteer, it's your silent time to click that link and fill it out. Okay. On your marks, get
Okay,
set, go.
this is where I need Kate to bring the music in so I can stay focused.
Oh man. I can only share one thing at a
No,
time.
I'm teasing. I'm teasing. You don't need to. My eyes are
But,
starting to blur, but I have not blinked yet.
but you're doing a very
And
good job.
All right.
people
I'm
can
tapping out. I'm tapping out.
really, you know what's weird? I never wore contacts growing up, and then in the last couple of years, I have had to, probably all the screen time. And my eyes started like blurring while we were doing that. Like, I was not ready for that, Beto.
You're
But you
you're
know
getting
what?
older. You're nowhere close to where I am on in terms of being an older Texan, but you're gonna get up there. And I am now wearing reading glasses to read anything. Like I pretend like I can see what's on my phone, but that's just to impress people. Like if I'll give you an example. I went to lunch with someone yesterday and the server brought the bill and it was not someone I know very well. And I was taking them to lunch and you want to impress the person. And so I got the bill and I was like, shit, I don't have my glasses. I cannot read this bill. So I had to take out my phone
Yeah.
and take a picture of the bill and
Oh,
then
wow. And
enlarge it.
zoom in.
So I'm at that age now,
Yeah,
where
I pretty much have to wear a headlamp to dinner if it's too low light.
yeah.
It's pretty embarrassing.
Well, it's crazy, Aimee. We still have
Uh,
again, I can't
we
see
did
this.
cross the 200 threshold, Beto, for what it's worth.
Yes. And we have, I think, still like over 600 people on the call.
We sure do.
Is Aimee frozen for you, Oriana?
Yes.
Oh, dang. Well, that might be our sign that we should wrap up soon. But if someone who can see if the volunteer list is still, if people are still adding themselves, we can stay on for a little bit longer. And also, Kate, Oriana, if you feel there's anything that Aimee and I left out in terms of questions that people have, things that they might need to know before they sign up, happy to try to tackle that, or we can give everyone their Tuesday night back.
She's back, and folks in the comments are saying she won the staring competition.
I totally
Oh, that's pretty funny. That was
like
by
froze.
design.
That's
That was
impressive.
yeah. We're back. We're back.
Can I just say one thing? I think Aimee, if you can just, or Beto, just touch briefly on people from out of state, how they can help. I've seen a lot of questions about
Sure.
that.
Absolutely. Actually, I was gonna call out. Let me see if I can find the person. There were a couple zip codes from out of state. I don't have all the zip codes memorized, but Sally, Jeannie, Eileen, Shelby, what's this other one? Denny. So many folks have joined wanting to be remote volunteers, which is amazing. So I'll tell you behind the scenes look, okay? We have over 70,000 people in our network, voters that we've met over the last 3 years, 2024, 2025, and this year. Sometimes our volunteers, for whatever reason, things come up and they no longer can maintain the relationships that they built initially with those voters. And so we have a remote program. It's called Adopt a Voter. And as a remote volunteer, we will train you once again on how to adopt these voters and then maintain contact with them from now until the election. And so if you're interested in that remote work and you still want that community and to make an impact on real voters in Texas, that is what we're going to set you up to do. And again, it's a short training Olivia puts on. It's an hour long. And then immediately right after the training, you get 30 voters, 50 voters, however many you want, pushed into your network, and you can immediately start texting with them. And I'll tell y'all, as we get closer to the election, this is really going to get fun, because you probably saw this in the slideshow for those of you who joined at the beginning, but there are people who send their voted stickers, their pictures of their voted stickers. They're bringing their friends with them. They're asking you questions. It is so fulfilling. It's no shade to other groups, doing the more traditional methods of organizing, but this is the most fulfilling work. This is what really feels good. And you make an impact because they give you that instant gratification of them going to the polls as well.
Yeah, that's great. And we're organized around the premise that human to human connection is the most profoundly powerful thing in the world. And for all the billions of dollars the oligarchs might have for, these masters of technology and algorithm that seem to kind of control our emotions and impulses by the feeds that we get in social media, for all that stuff, still, when you connect with a human being, especially in person, face to face, in the flesh, eyeball to eyeball, there's just nothing more powerful. And I know that, I think everybody on this call knows that because we're human beings. I know that in politics from, my first city council race in 2005, knocking on doors as a absolute unknown with a snowball shot, who won not because of anything that I had, but because of my ability to just be on doors, knock on them until someone answered, and then connect with the person on the other side of it and talk about what was important to them, listen to them. And empowered by people, we're basically doing the same thing. I mentioned showing up on college campuses. Hey, my name's Beto. What's your name? What are you studying here? What are you working on? What's exciting to you? What are you worried about? What do you want to change in the world? And from those conversations, you can then talk about, hey, so if we want to change this stuff, what if we organized around voting and made sure that we elect people who believe in these things that we were talking about, who have our values? And that turns into getting registered, that turns into voting, that turns into turning out and winning elections. And so if that's of interest to you, because you get it and you believe in that human connection, because we could spend all the money we raise on technology and ads and billboards and TV spots, or we could spend it on supporting the volunteers who forge these human connections. If you believe in that theory of the case, then we want you on this team. And as Aimee said, you could do that in person, but there's also a human connection to be made at a distance, even if you live outside of Texas. We will find a way to match you with someone that we've already met in person, but who needs that consistent pal to stay in touch with, to answer questions about voting, and to nudge and remind them until they cast that ballot. We have a job for you. Aimee, this has been so amazing. The last volunteer call we had about a month ago, July 7th, we had James Tallarico on, who again came on and thanked all of our volunteers who are now helping at James Tallarico events, make sure that everyone who attends those rallies, no matter what their age or whether they think they're registered or not, to confirm that. And a lot of times we find that someone's not registered, or they're registered at the wrong address, or they have a question about voting, we help them out. And then tonight we had Bernie Sanders, who I think more than perhaps any politician in America understands and has lived this organizing principle, which is that you got to be with people. You got to meet them where they are. And he's done that in Texas, whether it's McAllen or Amarillo or El Paso or Fort Worth, as we talked about earlier. And then tonight on our call, for those of you who joined late, he thanked all of the volunteers for all of the work that we all together are doing, because he believes that what happens in Texas is going to define what is possible in America. So this has been an amazing call. So I want to thank everyone who's joined us. I want to thank Kate and Oriana, who helped to put this on. Aimee, who is leading Powered by People so powerfully right now at the moment that we really need it. To all of our organizers, the entire support team who's on here, and most importantly, and I'm one of you, all of our volunteers who get out there and do this work, whose names may never be known, whose songs will not be sung, but who are the reason that we're going to win political power in November. I want to thank you for making this possible. Aimee, I'll turn it over to you for any last words.
I would just say, this is the work that works. And if you've been struggling with something in your life and you want community, this is a really, really special place to be. So it's beyond the relationships you build with the voters, it's the relationships you build with fellow volunteers, whether that's in person or even digitally in Slack. Like we are a really special group. And like Beto said, we hear all of your feedback. We take it very seriously. We meet every Friday. I called Friday Feedback to hear from you and improve our program because it matters. We're a group powered by people for people. And if you want to be part of that, if that's something that compels to you, then please join us. We'll see you out there in the field and let's go win this thing.
Let's get it done. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Kate. Thanks, Oriana. Thanks, team. And thanks, everybody,
Adios.
volunteers. Adios.